Thank you for joining us for City Talk. I'm Emily Lofgren, and I'm here with firefighters Aaron Meredith and Joe Timpson, and they're here to talk to you a little bit about what the fire department is doing in Fire Prevention Week, which is happening right now. Thank you for joining us.
Thanks.
So, Aaron, I believe that you have a very special anniversary at the fire department this week.
I do. I have my 5-year yesterday on the 7th, so today on Blue Shift, I get to buy a ribeye dinner for this shift. So it's a little memorable occasion, so it's a good group of guys to buy the shift meal for. So
yeah, that's great. So were you the firefighter for other departments before you came here? Or
no, I was not. Okay. I went to school at Scott Community College before this for my paramedic, and then I did my ride time at the fire department here in town. And I fell in love with it and applied, and they somehow hired me, and I've been living the dream ever since for the past 5 years.
Great. So how do you like living in Muscatine?
I like it. It's a good little community.
Good. That's great. So, Joe, how long have you been with the department?
16 years.
All right. And what brought you to become a firefighter?
Long story short, I took an EMT class as a first aid. I was in college at the time. We had to do some ride time as far as our EMT basic, and I wasn't really sure what I wanted to do after college. The minute I got on the engine the first time, I knew. Just completely changed everything, went right into EMT, went right to my paramedic, and decided I was going to be a firefighter, and got hired at Muscatine a year later and been here ever since.
Well, great. So tell me a little bit about your jobs as firefighters. What do you do on a daily basis? Like what does your job entail?
Me?
Do you want to go around? Or?
Sure. We run lots of medical calls, so we're extremely busy with that. We're averaging, around 13 or so calls a day. Some days are a little slower, some days are extremely busy. Our record so far is, about 27, 28 calls in one day, I believe. So in a 24-hour shift, it can get extremely busy, extremely fast. So lots of medical calls, some house fires here and there, and we'll talk about the fire prevention in a little bit leading up to that.
Yeah. And I know some people don't realize that you actually work 24-hour shifts.
Yeah.
So you're working from 7 a.m. to 7 p.m.?
Yeah, we come in at 7 a.m. We do like rig checks, check out equipment, work out, because you got to be in shape to be a firefighter, and same thing with the medic. Then basically clean up, get everything showered up. Then basically from roughly 8 to 5, 9 to 5 is a normal day. We get a longer lunch so we can get a rest period in case we're up all night. But so basically try and do normal stuff, like one shift does inspections, one shift does maintenance, and my shift does public education, smoke detectors, tours, stuff like that. And in the meantime, then we respond to calls during the whole 24 hours.
Okay. And now, you guys were focusing on a lot of training for June, July, and August. Is that right? So what kind of things did you do for training?
Went over basic tools. We went over just the fire response in general, because we have a lot of new guys. Since I've been here for 5 years, we have, I believe, 10 or 11 guys under me now in seniorities. So there's a lot of new blood that needs to be trained. So it's been very beneficial to train the new guys.
There's a lot of different areas we have to keep on. We do hazardous materials for 5 counties. So like a lot of areas around us have volunteer departments, or some of them have paid departments, and you have to be a hazardous materials technician you can recognize an accident or a spill, but you can't really mitigate it. So everybody in our department basically needs to be a technician, so we can go anywhere from the surrounding 4 counties and ours, so you can go 150 miles away to do that. So there's training with that. We do high angle as far as rope rescue, that sort of thing. Maybe we got a river, swift water. So then you have 90% of our calls are EMS. Then you have fire calls, investigations. So if you don't have them every day, or if you have new people, you got to train them on it. So we need to get time getting everybody up to date.
Has the training been pretty effective, though? You feel like everyone's getting on board with all the skills you need to know?
Yeah, I mean, they have to. I mean, the struggle is between all the calls and everything else is going on, trying to get everybody doing it. And then also, training isn't the same thing as experience. But we do what we can with what we have.
Yeah. So tell me a little bit about Fire Prevention Week. What have you been doing for that, or how do you educate people? Actually, Oh, as we looked up on the screen. Can we go back to those pictures that we just had up there? Okay. Now, this was a picture from last week, actually, at Day of Caring.
Yeah, this was an event put on by the Red Cross, United Way, and the Muscatine Fire Department. And there were some events around the Muscatine. One of them involved Ripley's trailer park. That's 4.5 miles from our central station. So at best, that engine can get out there 5 to 6 minutes. Well, that's a long time for a place to burn. So what we did is the Red Cross United Way supplied smoke detectors, and then some of the department, we were given some smoke detectors, and then the United Way gave us volunteers, and we went out and we tried to canvass Ripley's in a day. We put up 120 detectors. We were able to knock on every door, and for those people that weren't home, we left a flyer so they can either call us at the fire station, or they're given a flyer to where they could call the Red Cross in the Quad Cities, and they would act as a liaison, and we'll get them smoke detectors out there.
Great. Do you think that will be really beneficial for the future?
Yes. And the other thing is what they did, which really helped me, because the problem with smoke detectors, they let you know there's a fire, they save lives, they let you know to get out, but they don't stop fires.
Yeah.
And so I think that's something that people take for granted. You know, this is like a contingency plan. So what also went on is, you know, we'd look at, say, maybe somebody's using an extension cord that might cause a fire, space heaters, candles, stuff like that, and maybe talk a little about fire prevention, hoping that the fire would never start out there to begin with.
So we have these smoke detectors here. Can you tell me a little bit about what you needed to do to check your smoke detectors? And
What this is a working smoke detector. It's got a 9-volt battery in it. Some of them have a 9-volt, some of them have a 10-year battery. Some will say test monthly, some will say test weekly. This one has a battery in it, it's all ready to go. You just hold it down, it'll let you know it works. Sometimes if the battery's low, it might do a chirp, maybe once every 30 seconds. There's different kinds of smoke detectors. This is a dual sensor. As of 2010, basically all the smoke detectors in your house, they would like to be dual. And what that does is there's different types of detectors that pick up different things in a different time frame. There's an ionization, which picks up flaming fires a little faster, and photoelectric, which picks up smoke quicker. So this has both in one. Both of them will still detect fires. But one of them, you know, maybe one's 30 seconds faster in one instance. So these are what we tried putting up last week. These are 2 detectors that you can see. This is kind of melted. This one's all melted, still got the battery in it. They don't work now, but they did. After the fires even, after these were melted, they were still going off.
wow, that's amazing.
So that's kind of where I kind of keep them for a demonstration when we use them at the open house.
Yeah, great. So what other things do you do to prevent fires or to help people who are in a fire situation get out?
We have different people at the station that they go around and talk about things like for kids getting low in smoke, how to stay in the house, stay in your room if you need to, that sort of thing, and an escape plan. Everybody should have an escape plan in the house. Maybe Aaron could talk about that.
So about the escape plan, you need to have, if you have small children in your family, you need to have an area outside your home, preferably the mailbox in front of the home, that if the smoke detector goes off, that you already have a plan in your family saying that you're going to meet at the mailbox so that you know everyone's safe and sound. Say for instance you have small ones that can't get out on their own, infant, toddlers, then in the event that the smoke detector goes off, get your children out. If there's elderly people inside the house, then they may need assistance as well to get outside the house to the designated area for the escape plan.
Yeah, so it's important to have a central meeting location that every family member knows about.
Exactly.
I'm going to put you on the spot for a second, Emily, and
Okay.
maybe even Aaron.
Yeah.
I mean, Aaron's a firefighter, so he probably knows. But like, how are you? Early 20s?
Yeah, I'm 24. So,
Okay.
yeah.
So you might go out, clubs, something like that with your friends. Maybe
Once in a while.
nightclubs, or think about when you were a kid and would do a slumber party.
Okay.
When you'd stay in somebody's house, did you ever stay in the basement?
I used to have my bedroom in the basement.
Okay.
So.
Or you go out with your friends. How often did you know the house that you could find your way out in the dark?
Well, I don't do a lot of spending the night at other homes. I don't know
Right, as a
people,
kid.
So.
But I mean, that's something that I rarely see parents think about
Yeah,
or
that's a
mention
good-
to their
that's a good
kids.
point.
The
Yeah.
other thing is the
Yeah.
big one to me is when college kids a lot of times are more susceptible because they go to nightclubs.
Okay.
And some large losses are, as far as life, like the Rhode Island nightclub at the station, what was that, 110 people? That was in the United States, what, 7 years ago now?
Oh, wow.
It's a long while.
And basically, people, when they go into these places, they don't think, what if there's a fire? Because they just assume it doesn't happen.
Yeah.
So as far as college age, a lot of times people are 21, 22, they go to these places, they're with their friends, think of spring break or something where a lot of people are drinking, they're disoriented. You know, that's a place where you're with your friends, you kind of need to keep that in mind.
Yeah. That's a good point for kids when they're children, spending the night at a friend's house or even another family member's house. They don't
yeah.
they don't know an escape plan at all.
You need to make sure you have
So.
2 exits as well. So one through the door, obviously, that's the
Yeah.
obvious one, and then possibly window.
Yep. That makes sense. Good to know. So this weekend there's a special event coming up at the fire department. So do you want to tell us a little bit about that? I think there might have been some videos and some pictures scrolling through already
Yeah, I think that's
about
the old
them,
9th
but-
Street fire
Oh, that's okay.
where they just opened up Jefferson School this weekend. They had their open house this week at Jefferson. That's when we had
4 houses burning.
it was a county-wide event with mutual aid with all the volunteer departments where we trained in the houses for a month, and then we had a big training exercise where all the companies from all the departments around, we did some live burns, and at the end of the day we burned it down to make way for the Jefferson School.
Oh, wow.
Very windy day.
Yeah.
This weekend we have our open house at the fire department from noon to 3 on Sunday. This is, I think, probably about the 7th, 8th year in a row we did that. We'll have demonstrations going on for kids, parents, family. The sheriff's department is also doing some demonstrations. The police department's doing some demonstrations. We're going to have a smokehouse for the kids to crawl through, sprinkler trailer that people can look at to see what residential sprinklers do. Bring the kids through, they can try on gear, get their picture taken in bunker gear, spray some water. We got some hose mazes, some stuff they can do, and they can climb in all the equipment and look at it.
And the kids love that kind of stuff.
Yeah. Oh,
yeah.
They just want to.
A lot of times the adults like it too.
Yeah, exactly. Actually, I really enjoyed it. I got to dress up I got to suit up in the fire equipment and go through a fire simulation at it's over by Pizza Ranch. When they were at Ford Avenue. Yeah, they were actually going to be
The old
demolishing the building.
suntan place recently that
Yeah,
was
so I got to
turned
do.
over.
It's different, isn't it?
Yeah, it was interesting. It was an experience.
Did you put the mask on?
I did, yeah, and I had all the gear, and the boots are falling off as I was crawling though, because they're a little bit big.
We wouldn't want you to show us up.
Yeah, so that was an experience. So, well, is there anything else that you'd like to add or tell Muscatine about fire prevention?
Not at this point.
All right, well, thank you so much for joining
you.
us. We really appreciate it. That is all that we have for City Talk. Thank you so much for joining us today. This is Emily Lofgren, and we will see you next week.